between picking Beth up from the airport and going to set up a scene with Christmas decorations, I wanted to give you guys a little look at what our editing process looks like. So Dee already laid this scene out and did a lot of the major cuts. And what I do is normally like special touch-ups and details for scenes that I'm not cutting myself. So I masked out something, and I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because I don't want you to look for it in the movie, but if you see it, you can comment below what you think it was. And then I'm going to color it to just help that mask a little bit. So you can see that like this scene or this angle is colored differently than this one. So what I'm going to do is actually match this one and this one, and I like the look of this better, so that's what I'm going to be going with. So you can see this is no coloring, and then I'm going to apply what I just did, and it's the slightest difference, but it actually makes a huge difference when you're looking at a film to make sure that it's cohesive. It would, if we didn't do this, it would be like going from something that looks like this to something that looks like that. And again, not a huge difference, but it's a little bit of a difference that you feel the difference. The other part in this process is looking through the scenes and deciding like, what do we need to reshoot? Do we need to reshoot? Can it be fixed? So this is one of the scenes that we were thinking about for that. And looks like we salvaged it, but it's always a process of balancing time and budget. We're getting down to the wire now for completing this movie and getting it out in time. So those are things that we're constantly balancing and trying to figure out too. And of course, things never go quite as planned for deadlines, but that's a big part of the editing process for us because we're making all those decisions is what do we need to do still? What haven't we done? And are there reshoots? Still up in the air on that one. And it's November 25th.
You could be Black Santa. You got the red and the beard. For Christmas this year, I want a pony. Anyway, welcome back to the third installment of the D3T Productions podcast, officially launching in 2021. We can't wait. We love to see it. We love to talk about it. You see,
love to lie apparently too. That's not happening.
That's the face of a man who's about to launch a podcast. We're back to talk.
Launch my phone across this table.
Nah, you don't have a case. Don't do it, bro.
I don't care.
Don't do it.
I got a new iPhone out next week anyway or something.
You know that that TikTok? No, I ain't gonna do it, girl. I was just thinking about it, but I'm not gonna do it. I just thinking about it.
I don't watch TikTok, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw it on Instagram or something. We are back to talk about phase 3 of how to make a murder movie. How to make a movie.
A murder movie? Who's dying?
Nobody. Our fears.
Okay.
Inspirational hashtag death to our fears. I don't know. Anyway, we're talking about the editing process today, which is like, I love editing things. I get pretty excited when we talk about the nitty gritty of things. It's really fun for me. But the editing process I really enjoy because it's like you have the story in front of you as a script. You're seeing it kind of unfold on set, but then editing is really what weaves that story together. Together, because like both visually and audio, you're pulling in all the pieces that you want people to see and the important parts that you want people to hear. And I think that's really cool. Not just like you saw sort of in the behind the scenes of like the coloring is important, like the lighting is. Sure, we did some movie magic and hid some things that were actually on screen that we made disappear. But for me, it's the storyline and like really bringing that story together. I don't know. What do you think about, like, how's this process for you, Ben?
It's a fun but long process. We take something maybe 3 times, and then to come back home and look at dailies or like what we shot that day, and then figure out the best take from the perspective of the delivery, from the perspective of how the audio sounds, from the perspective of how it matches with the next person's line. All of those things go into the process of editing, but I do think it's rewarding, and it's also cool because we don't shoot in like simultaneously or
Very
chronologically.
rarely.
Yeah, so we'll start. I think we started with scene 1 this time, and then we wind up.
Yeah, we did like 1, 8, 4, 2, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, so like by the second day of shooting, the story doesn't make sense anymore. And then to be able to like get it on a computer, like it's captured, you get it on the computer, and now you get to lay out the whole, canvas. It's really cool because again, like by the second scene, I'm like, what scene is this? What wasn't that line in this part? Like, so again, just to see it come to fullness is it's rewarding because you get to see all your hard work, in front of you, and paid off. Yeah.
And then when you like slide the music underneath
Yeah.
it, you get a little emotional.
Yeah, and then it's like, wait, did I really capture that? Did we really do that? Like, yeah, yeah. I think it's the icing on top of all of it, and it justifies the long nights. It justifies the thousands of takes of the same thing over. Like, it makes it all worth the while. Yeah.
And I think that, something that we look forward to doing when things are a little bit more open is being able to see people's reactions. There's actually, we might not keep this in here, but there's a festival in Chicago called the Feedback Film Festival. You know about that? Basically, they get groups of people to watch it and like share how they reacted to it with the filmmakers.
Cool. Yeah.
So I submitted the first one to that a couple days ago, but I feel like that's such a cool opportunity because really, at the end of the day, for me, and I think for you too, movie making is about telling a story and moving people, more so than just like, oh, well, I want to do this for the art. Like, yeah, there's art involved and it's very artistic, but for me, it's about like, what does someone take away from it?
Yeah.
So
I've been doing research just like throughout this process of the greats in this industry, and really, one of them said, it's fun, it's an art, but everybody wants to see a glimpse of their life, but portrayed through someone else. How does it relate to me? How is it not tangible because that's touching, but how is it like, can I take that home and maybe make an adjustment to what I'm doing to make that much more of an influence or a difference? So really that, it's fun, the late nights, the hard work, blah, blah, blah. But really, is someone moved by the story? Can someone relate to the story? Is someone changed by the story? That's really what the most important part about it. Not the awards, not the accolades, not the like all that stuff is really cool. And to be making a lot of money off of it,
I was gonna say I'd rather get paid than get awards.
Absolutely. But you have to start somewhere, and I think what gets you the money, what gets you the fame, what gets you the attention is being relatable. Yeah. So yeah.
And for me, like personally, I did not grow up wanting to make movies. I just always loved music because of the way it connected people, and started doing film scoring when I was like in my teens and early 20s. And that led me into movies because it's like I always wanted people to get a glimpse of something bigger than themselves through my music. And then going from writing music to writing like movies, it's the same goal. It's like I want you to see something bigger than yourself, to be inspired, to have some piece of hope. I think even if I made a horror film, which I wouldn't because I don't do scary movies, I just can't. But if I did, there would have to be something redemptive in it. And that for me is the most important part. Like I'm either going to leave you hanging because you need to change, or I want you to be inspired to stay on a path that you're on, you know?
Yeah, inspiring or moving people is definitely the bigger part of this art. Music, capturing video.
Music is a part of that art. What's your least favorite part of the editing process? Again, I know my answer to this question. I feel like you have to have one too.
My least favorite part of the editing it's not necessarily my least favorite part about the process, but when editing, the part that I don't like is if I see something that I want to do again and I don't have the opportunity to do it. And I have to settle, and it reaches a point of like, dang, why wasn't I thinking about this perspective, or why didn't I get this angle, or why don't I like, so it's really that. And then unfortunately I beat myself up about it, and then those scenes become my dreaded scenes that I don't want to edit, or I don't want to be seen. I just want to skip over them, and unfortunately the audience would never know. And again, some people would, but the general population wouldn't know. But whenever I reach a place of like, man, I wish I would have captured, or I wish I had more time to, or I wish, like, that's the tough part. And then it's like, I'll go through all the takes knowing that it's not there, it's not going to be any different, but I still, do it anyway. Like, well, just maybe I was thinking, yeah. So that's my most dreaded part of the editing process, is when going through the footage and I'm missing not missing the lines, or not missing a reaction, but missing a perspective or an angle that we, again, just don't have time to go back and get.
And I think one of the things that we say the most when we're like working on edits and watch it back later is like, oh, that's not as terrible as I thought it was.
Yeah, that just happened the other day. We were planning a reshoot, and like just taking some notes, and it was a scene that I definitely, and I still, it's not bad. But I still wish that we could redo it.
And I really didn't even watch it because I didn't want to see it, because I felt the same way.
Yeah. But then watching it back, it was like, what's the big deal? I could change the color temperature and make it all match, and then it would be fine. But it's just like the small stuff. It sucks, because I beat myself up pretty bad about it. But it's so minor.
And I think that's, we've experienced that in any creative project we do, where it's so easy to like go back over the details hundreds of times. And that's like my biggest struggle, because I tend to over edit things. So I'll just like go in and change it, and then change it again. And then like, oh, this could be different too.
Yeah.
And it could take forever.
Yeah.
But something I was like thinking about the other day is neither one of us went to film school. Like, this is our film school.
Yeah.
People are watching it. People are getting paid. Like, money is being transferred, and people are being entertained, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But we didn't pay for this degree. We're getting it from experience. And so those missed angles and those missed shots, okay, so for the next project, we'll get it.
Yeah, that, and then understanding or accepting that art is never really finished.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. No artist or painter or what, like, no one has ever been so satisfied with a project and been like, yes, this is it. Ship it out. Like, someone or something had to push that person to say, okay, enough is enough. It's that's just what it is. They're either gonna love it or hate it, but you put your all into it, and that's all that matters. And that's really, when it comes to art and being a perfectionist, that has to be the constant reminder. Is like, art's never done. It's whether it's a song, a movie, a garden, none of, like, it's never complete.
And I was talking to another friend of mine about this. We did a podcast about it. Her podcast was called Candles to My Cake, because she did it for her birthday. But we're talking about like creativity and just accepting that it's never going to be perfect, but it's more important to just put it out there.
Yeah.
And then another, like that same week, two people for different things talked to me about that. Like, the point is not to be perfect, especially right now in a pandemic. We're just seeing much less perfected versions of everyone. So just like put it out there. At some point, that's got a lot more value than something perfect.
Yeah. I think this is Michael Jordan. He says, you'll miss every shot you don't take.
Yeah.
So, you got a 50-50 chance, and if you don't take it, you're not gonna make it. So just go for it. And I mean, some people aren't gonna like it, and that's just.
And some people are gonna hate on it, like
Yeah,
just straight up.
that's just the reality of life. You're not in it to impress any or everybody.
Yeah.
Do it because you said that you were going to, not because someone does or doesn't like it.
Yeah, and all art's supposed to provoke a reaction, whether it's positive or negative. You're gonna feel
Hey,
something.
you saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
So your view counts for something, whether you didn't like it or not.
All right.
We'll take it.
Yeah, so we're still in the middle of the editing process. At this point, when we're recording, I don't know when this comes out. We should be done editing. So
If we're not,
fingers crossed, you guys.
it's because I got a new camera and we reshot everything.
But yeah, we're upgrading, guys. New spaces, new cameras.
New faces.
You getting plastic surgery?
It just rhymed with spaces, okay? I don't know. Spaces, faces, aces.
But I guess what we
Bases. Oh, now I'm about to become a bass player.
He's about to become a rapper, y'all. He's gonna rap and play bass in between.
Yeah. Just kidding. That's not true. It's not happening.
More of that to come on our podcast in 2021.
Reasons why I'm not making a podcast.
We're so inspiring, though. Did you hear how inspiring we just were? Anyway.
No, I didn't. I was just talking. I mean, I wasn't just... Okay, yeah.
We're
anyway.
inspiring. It's whatever.
If it inspired you, great.
I do hope that our projects inspire people
Yeah.
to, like, two kids from Illinois just doing what we
I'm
love.
not a kid anymore.
And
I'm from Chicago.
Okay, well, I'm from Northern Illinois, so I'm not trying to
I'm
claim
from
Chicago.
Chicago.
The shy baby. I'm from the silos in cornfields.
The what? White people stuff. Again, it never fails.
I had a classmate in middle school who came to school in cowboy boots every day. Middle school.
I had in high school, they did that too, but...
White people, I tell you, man.
All right.
They'd be crazy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. No, I don't.
Yeah, so when you're seeing this, the movie's about to be out December 11th, so you should definitely like and subscribe depending on what platform you're on. Turn on your alerts because we're going to be dropping that stuff, and you can subscribe to our email. I almost swore, and I'm trying not to,
Okay.
Subscribe to our email as well because you'll be the first to know about anything we do, or get some great tips on how to improve your own digital content.
Or just pay us to do it.
That is the point of most of those tips. Like, you can do it yourself and it'll be aight, but it'd be better if we did it.
Yeah, we have a little more time on our hands. Just pay us. And
Yeah. I mean, we're here to make your vision happen. Much like editing is putting together pieces of a puzzle, we are the piece to your puzzle, right? So, I'm not going to say what I was about to say.
We gotta go.